Welcome to a VSA Capital video blog, and delighted today to have Mark Routh, the Chief Executive of Prospex Energy. Mark, how are you?
Hello, Andrew. I'm good.
Good. Well, it's actually, we last spoke about a year ago, I think, and an awful lot has happened since then. A lot of actually really good things with the company, but of course, within all of that, we've seen the gas price go shooting up and shooting back down again, which has complicated things a little bit. But and you've also, of course, just recently published results. So, all the news is basically in the market. But I mean, things actually seem to be going pretty well at the moment, in as much as you're moving forward in both Italy and Spain. And you're in a very nice place of being what I describe as an integrated energy company. You're not actually just reliant upon gas production. And of course, you are in production now. You've got first gas in Italy. So in a way, I think maybe the market needs updating to understand exactly what it is you're becoming. So maybe you could just run us through how you see the picture today.
Yeah, well, it is very satisfying when a plan comes together, and there's been a lot of planning to get to this stage. When we last spoke, we were waiting for, I think we were still waiting for permission for the production concession. And that happened in June or July of last year. The production concession was granted, and then it's taken us a little while to finish the various environmental steps to get Selva into production in Italy, with the 12-month seismic monitoring program, which finished in February, and then the plant construction, which happened when the production concession was finally granted, because we weren't going to spend money unless we had the production concession approved. So that all got going. I visited the well site and the new plant construction in April of this year. Saw the extremely high quality of the kit that's been installed and the tie-in points to the SNAM gas grid in Italy. And we were then unfortunately delayed because we needed a sign-off from the fire department in Italy, and there were floods in the Po Valley, and the fire department was busy rescuing people from the floods. So that did delay our first gas from May through to early July. So on the 4th of July, we celebrated with first gas sales to our gas buyer, BP Gas Marketing, which the joint venture is selling the gas to. And the gas is sold on the so-called PSV Heron Index, which is linked to the TTF at a small premium. So it's all good news. We've got Italy on production.
And sorry, just your relationship obviously with Po Valley Energy, that's all going well, is it? Because obviously you have, I think it's 37% of Selva, don't you?
Yes, we've got 37% of Selva, and we pay our cash calls on time, and we have a very good relationship with the operator. Po Valley Energy is ASX listed, so the time zone changes are always a challenge, because they list announcements in the middle of the night on a Sunday usually, because it's their Monday morning. But we're used to dealing with those sort of things. But Po Valley is also happy to be in production, and they're ramping up the production slowly. And we're doing the standard thing of a well that's been suspended for a while. We're increasing the flow rate slowly. And when I've got the figures published from the operator, I'll be able to publish those. We can't go out of sync, but it's all going well. The wellhead pressure is holding up, and we're selling gas, so what's not to like?
Particularly in Europe at the moment. I mean, everybody feels that the gas prices come down. I'm sure we'll have a little bit of a chat about that later, but the fact of the matter is that Europe is still desperately in need of gas, regardless of the price. So yes, that is good news.
Well, that's right. But you touched on the fact that, Prospex has become an integrated energy company. We are. We've got solar panels in Spain. We're going to build another solar farm adjacent to the power plant in Spain. So that does make us a fully integrated energy company. But importantly, we have production from 2 hubs in 2 different nations, and that gives us a portfolio spread. So a small company, yes, but we're going to grow. And we've got organic growth in both Spain and Italy to look forward to, with further wells being planned right at the moment.
So, and on El Romeral in Spain, you have 49.9%. What is the current status quo there in terms of, obviously you went into that with Warrego Energy, and there's potentially a bit of change going on there, isn't there?
Yes, well, in February this year, Warrego Energy, which was ASX listed on the Australian Stock Exchange, was bought for cash by Hancock Energy, a very large mining entity down in Perth, Western Australia. They are concentrating on Warrego's assets in the Perth Basin, and the Spanish portfolio is 1 or 2% of the entire worth of Warrego at the moment. But they are keen to support it and grow it. And basically, the previous MD of Warrego Energy is working for Hancock now, and is their representative, Hancock's representative, on the board of Tarba Energia, which is the operator in Spain, where Prospex owns 49.9%, and Warrego owns 50.1%. So it's still called Warrego Energy. It's just owned by Hancock, which is now a private company.
And obviously, the as you say, you're an integrated energy company, but it's slightly different in Spain. And you mentioned you've got solar panels going and everything. I mean, you're an energy producer as well as potentially a gas explorer, so to speak.
Yes, so we produce gas from the wells on the El Romeral concessions. There are 3 concessions. We've got 2 or 3 wells producing into the power station. So the gas we flow goes to the power station, and that goes into one of 3 generators. We can only run one of the 3 generators at a time because we have insufficient gas behind pipe to run more than 1 generator. And we sell electricity, importantly, on the spot market to General Electric in Spain, and we get quotes by the hour every day as to what we're going to get on the hourly basis of the electricity market in Spain, and it goes up and down, but we have to manage that.
Yeah, and so obviously, the good news about all of this is that you are, actually generating cash, but you are, of course, as well, one has to bear in mind, an investment company, aren't you? So maybe just talk through how the cash flow works for you as an investment company.
Well, the fact that Prospex is an investment company is, frankly, a technicality. It means we can't go above 50% in an asset, and we can't operate it. But that's not to stop us owning shares in a company which does operate, which is the situation in Spain, where we own 49.9% of Tarba Energia, which is the local Spanish company which operates the plant. Tarba has its own website, which there's a link to that in our website. Oh no, on websites, by the way, we're this week, I hope, about to upgrade the Prospect website. So look out for that. We shall see a new website coming up. But yes, an investment company, it's frankly a technicality. It means we can't operate something or go more than 50%, but in all other respects, it's just the same as being a joint venture partner anywhere else.
Yeah, and I mean, in terms of your results that you just published, obviously you saw a huge uptick in the value of your investments. We did see a small operating loss still. I mean, what is your current cash position today? Obviously, you did some time ago, and I'm sure we'll discuss it a little bit later, put out a convertible bond, so you were pretty well financed. But just talk us through very quickly where you are financially today.
Well, I'm not going to give you precise numbers, not least because I don't hold them in my head, but the cash position...
Just roughly, Mark, give us a bit of a clue.
The cash position is healthy. We are expecting first revenues from the Selva production to hit us next month, because the contract with BP Gas Marketing allows the joint venture to be paid promptly. The cash position in Tarba is also healthy. That cash is growing. It's self-funding, but as we mentioned before, both assets have organic growth opportunities, with 3 wells to be drilled in the Selva Malvezzi concession, the Po Valley in Italy, and we're planning and permitting those. And we have 5 wells in the permitting process now with the Spanish government, Spanish regulatory authority called MITECO. 5 wells to drill on the Romeral concession. In order for us to get up to 100% capacity at the power station, we only need 2 of those 5 wells to come in, and we will be at 100% capacity. The other 3 wells, if they come in as well, which is highly likely, will mean we have more gas behind pipe that we could sell to local industry or connect to a local pipeline or whatever. So we will have more gas than we know what to do with. No, that's not quite true. We know exactly what to do with it. We'll have more gas to sell. There is a bit of a hiatus at the moment, because I think on Sunday, Sunday the 23rd of July, there are national elections in Spain, and there is widely expected to be a change of guard in the government in Spain, which is largely expected to be favorable for the energy industry in Spain. Let's have our fingers crossed.
Well, for those watching after July the 23rd, I hope you've predicted it correct, Mark.
Yes.
So, I mean, the interesting there is, I mean, you know, these are basically all, because you're simply an investor in it, they're all fully funded to do all this drilling. And yet they're big catalysts that, if they come in, can move the share price up. So, I mean, what is the timing of when all of these things could happen? Because for an investor, that's pretty key.
Yeah, it is key. And the trouble is the precise timing and the precise nature of that is hard to predict when you've got such volatility in the gas price. We'll come on to the gas price, but the actual cash position at the point at which we get our permits approved on the 3 wells in Italy and the 5 wells in Spain, it's a bit of a juggling act, because we can't precisely tell when the regulator is going to give us the permits. Now, we've got long lead items ordered, we've got rigs procurement in the pipeline, we've got pipelines ordered and it getting ready to go, but we won't commit to those until we've absolutely firmly got the permission to drill the wells. Now, there's no doubt it'll happen. It's a question of when, not if, because both concessions are approved as production concessions, and no law can sort of take that away. It's just a case of the regulator having to go through a process. You know, there's an environmental process in Spain, and we're in this situation of statutory consultee discussions. That's just the law of the land.
Well, we know regulators never go fast, and so obviously it isn't weeks. But I mean, we're talking, you know, should we say in the next 12 months, there could be an awful lot of potentially very good news, couldn't there?
Yes, and in our corporate presentation, which we updated on the website last week, I'm planning on drilling happening in Spain and Italy in Q2 2024. Now, if permits are granted before that, it could be before that date, but I have to plan for something. And I'm looking at cash flows to that point, and I'm working out exactly what the schedule of the cost is going to be and when it's going to be required. And it's a juggling act, but yeah. So, but for the organic growth on the assets, that's what we're looking at. Q2 2024. It could slip, but I'm hoping it could be accelerated.
So let's just obviously turn to the gas price a second, because obviously, you know, when we spoke a year ago, gas prices were very high. The war in Ukraine shoved them right up. They've come back down again to a sort of more normalized level. But there is talk, actually, there could be another spike up this winter, just because as Europe, well, the idea of Europe getting a cold patch at the moment sounds ludicrous because it's got such a hot patch. But, you know, there is talk. I mean, how do you see the gas price yourself over the next sort of 12 months? And sort of just what impact will it have upon you? I mean, you sort of touched on it in terms of planning and deciding when to drill, which is a pretty big impact, to be honest with you. But, you know, from a overall perspective, I mean, it stays at this level. Are you sort of wouldn't be happy necessarily, but you're not unhappy? Would that be a fair way of saying it?
Yeah. I checked it this morning, and I think I saw the current TTF price at around 26 euros per megawatt hour, which in UK terms is about 64 pence per therm. 64 pence per therm back when I was looking at assets in the North Sea was a phenomenal price for the gas. We were averaging 25 in the 90s and 2000s, and 25 were thought to be high. So prices of 60 pence per therm is a price on which you can make money. As I said before, at 30 euros per megawatt hour, 60 pence per therm, we'll be making money. We can continue to make money at far lower prices than that, because we've got onshore developments where the OPEX is frankly so low and our overheads are low. We're a small company. Po Valley overheads are low. The Taba Energia overheads are low. It's a small team, it's a small company. So we'll be making money at prices lower than where we are now, a lot lower. And I see the forward curve firming up. It's certainly, you look at the ICE website, the TTF forward curve, it's going up to 50, 60 euros per megawatt hour in the next 18 months. And I'm just looking at my chart here, 50 euros per megawatt hour is 120 pence per therm. I mean, this is converting molecules of methane into euros very effectively.
An interesting point there for those that haven't really followed Prospex in the past. I do know Mark's track record, and you were very successful in the North Sea. So you are very good at this game. So you're a management that's worth backing. So I'll just say that for anybody watching. I've known Mark here a long time, obviously. So there's the gas price.
Andrew, I've always believed in gas as the go-to product to go to, and it's been acknowledged as the transition fuel in Europe. So yes, I've always been a keen proponent on gas as the transition fuel and the one that's got to survive. So I'm a firm believer, and it works.
CH4, I think, was the name of one of your companies, Mark. So
yes, I know.
So there's the gas price, all looking good. So everything is all looking good. Your share price in the last year has gone whizzing up to about 17, 18 or so, back down to nearly 5. And the convertible point of view, are we in a situation here? We are seeing 1 or 2 convertibles getting converted into equity. Do you want to just talk us through how you see that, whether that's having an impact on the share price? Because really down at this level, you've now gone too low. And I mean, I'm happy to explain that in my view, one of the problems at the moment is just zero liquidity in the market. And so you only need a seller of about £1 worth of stock and the stock falls. I mean, markets are horrendous at the moment. I think to be honest with you, all UK equities look undervalued probably. But are you seeing some technical things there with a convertible bond? Do you think that is actually, although it's driving the share price lower, it's creating an opportunity for somebody to buy?
Yes, indeed. I can never predict what AIM stocks do and what causes them to go up or down. The spike we saw previously, I think that was related to commodity prices, where the gas price went nuts because of the global situation. Everybody knows about that. Onto the convertible loan notes, I'd just like to say there's perhaps a misunderstanding here. I converted my loan notes into shares because I want to hold the shares and increase my holding in the company. Some people thought that I was selling the shares or that I was leaving the company. That's not the case. I'm here to stay. I want to grow this company, and I want to have a larger shareholding. I do have personal issue that I prefer to, if I'm buying stock in a company, to put the money into the company, not to buy the shares of the person in the market who is selling the shares, where the benefit is to the person selling the shares, not benefit to the company. So that's my personal preference. And there's been some discussion on options, and yes, that again is personal preference, and directors will choose to exercise their options when they're ready. And it's a question of when, not if. So the question of convertible loan notes, remember, as a director, I'm unable to trade or convert shares if I'm in possession of inside information, which is almost permanent. I happened to have a window last week where I was not in possession of insider information because we just published first gas from Selva. And so I took the opportunity to convert my shares and hold them. And will be an AIM Rule 26 notice out when those shares are issued, and people will be able to see that on the website.
So any sort of talk of strange technicalities is probably actually all overdone. And what's really simply causing the weakness is complete lack of liquidity in the market. It's the summer. One or two people need a bit of cash. There's a bit of a cash crisis probably out there. And actually, we shouldn't really worry about anything.
No, and fundamentally, the fundamentals of the company are strong. You know, we've got production in from 2 assets in 2 different countries. We're looking to grow. Yes, we are, but there's nothing that I can announce yet. If there's a business development opportunity to be had, then we will do that. But I'll only do that if it's going to be accretive to the share price. I've got skin in the game. People might say it's not enough, but that's just a question of comparison. A lot of my colleagues have a lot of skin in the game, and I know all of the people on the AIM Rule 26 share register and more. I know many of the shareholders personally and meet them and talk to them often. We will look to grow the company, and that is a plan. We're 26 million pound market cap company now, 22 maybe. The share price is at the moment. I'm looking to take it far beyond that.
Well, you obviously aren't about to do something drastic immediately, because as you say, you just converted your shares, you weren't inside. Just thought it's interesting. I mean, you do have a very much a high net worth shareholder base. They obviously are supportive, and we know most of them took part in the convertible bond issue, whenever it was, about a year ago or so. I mean, we all know that if you've got a strong high net worth shareholder base, it actually can be just as good as an institutional shareholder base. But would you be? We all know in this market at the moment, there's a lot of companies being taken private. There's a lot of companies doing deals just to try and, unfortunately, escape the markets because they're so difficult. I mean, is that, if the share price continued to be low, do you think you would maybe say to some private equity or someone like that, okay, look, let's go private because we can create bigger value? I mean, do those thoughts cross your mind? I'm not saying you're necessarily going to do it, but I mean,
well, I've had experience of both private equity owned companies and public companies, and it's just there's actually not too much difference with the private equity companies. Your shareholders are sitting in the boardroom with you. With a public company, the shareholders are not in the boardroom with you, but they're not far away. They're just the other side of the phone call. So it's just slightly different. You still have to run the company for the benefit of the shareholders, and you still have to talk to shareholders. So actually, in a way, I'm ambivalent on that. If somebody comes up with a deal, it's a question of, anything's for sale, what's the price? It's a bit of a glib comment, but I have run AIM listed companies for 10, 12 years or more at CEO level. I've run a private equity company for similar length of time. So I have experience of both, and it's horses for courses. Some people prefer one, not the other. I'm frankly ambivalent. What I'm looking to do is to grow value for the shareholders, of which I am one and will become significantly more so. To grow the company for the shareholders, I am very loyal to the shareholders for their support. They supported us with loan notes to fund the Selva acquisition, and I'm very grateful for that support, and I will return that trust in me and in Prospex by delivering what I said I was going to do. And that's what Prospex is about. We will deliver that growth, because that's what we said we were aiming to do, and I will do my damnedest to make it happen.
Well, you already have. I think in the last 12 months, you've done remarkably well. As I say, I think the market is really not rewarding for the success, but the picture's been blurred by macro factors. But within that, that's always interesting, because obviously if stock becomes too cheap for macro factors and not for actually factors within the company, that's therein lies the opportunity.
Yes, well, like you say, the markets will do what markets do, and shares will be sold and shares will be bought. There's a very large shareholder list. I don't know all of them, but I do know many of them. Some are holding, some are trading. I can't predict what will happen. All I can do is do my job and do what I do best, which is to run a gas company and to grow it as best we can to create value for shareholders. That's what I'm about.
Well, that's quite a good summary. Is there anything else you'd like to quickly say before? And this was just a quick chat really to update people. Anything else you'd like to just mention, Mark, before we...
Well, all I'd say is watch this space. I'm here for the duration. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And hopefully we'll get to where I say we're going to get to. And it's a case of watch this space. And yeah, thank you very much.
Very good. Well, thank you, Mark, for having a chat. Obviously, anybody listening to this, if they've got any follow-up questions, do feel free to ask us at VSA or get in touch with Mark himself. We have actually just published research on Prospex Energy as well. I think our target price is 21.5p from memory, currently trading at about 5 3/4 pence, so plenty of upside there. I know some people are skeptical of brokers' forecasts, but I mean, there really is a lot of upside, I think, with you, Mark. And hopefully we won't be leaving a year till we speak again, because I have a feeling that there'll be a lot of activity probably happening more than within a year's time. And I think it'll all be good news. So thanks for coming on, Mark. So anybody's got any questions, please do follow up with us.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm very confident.